Welcome back. You're watching Community Roundup and I'm Vikas Nangia. As the temperature continues to drop in many areas of the country, people become increasingly challenged to maintain a healthy diet. Remember, our food choices each day affect our health, how we feel today, tomorrow, and in the future. Keeping the body well nourished during the winter can be difficult. A bowl of soup can help us stay warm and cozy during the cold winter. Soups are often very healthful, and trying out different recipes and ingredients is a great way. TV Asia's Seema Govil finds out.
So today I am with Dr. Sethi and Shefali. Shefali has her own Chef's Kitchen website, and she is a food writer and a food instructor. So they're both going to show us these fabulous healthy recipes today. So let's get started.
Thank you, Seema. So winter is a time when we think about nourishing foods and we think about healing spices. Spices and herbs and foods that do help us fight infection and help boost our immune system so we can stave off those colds and viruses that we tend to get exposed to during this time. So the first recipe that we have is a mulligatawny soup, and it's chock full of herbs and phytonutrient-dense vegetables. Shefali, let's get started.
Okay, so I'm going to get started on the first step of this recipe, where you've put some olive oil in the pot. It's already been warming up. It's not, you don't want it to get too hot where it's smoking, because olive oil has a high smoke point. So once you start seeing it shimmer a little bit, you can test the oil, the heat of the oil, by putting a cumin seed or a mustard seed if you have, and it should sizzle around if it's hot enough, but it shouldn't be splattering. So if it is splattering, it'll be too hot. So this looks just right to me. I'm going to put the cumin seeds in, and they're going to sizzle, and you'll start smelling the aroma. This is, like the tadka step or vaghat or talimpu or whatever you might want to call it, or we call it in English tempering spices as well. So let that go for about 30 seconds, and then go ahead and put in about a half chopped onion, and let that sizzle. And it's already smelling really good, right, girls?
Absolutely.
All right, now you want to adjust the heat because you don't want these onions to brown. So if they start browning immediately, you need to lower the heat. We're going to add our celery. So some sliced celery. And we're going to let that cook for a little bit, maybe just a minute or two, and you can add your spices. Maybe while you're measuring your spices out, because you normally may not have this at home, so you can measure them out while this is cooking. I've got some haldi, some turmeric, and I have a good healthy dose, and Shelly's going to talk to you about this in a bit, but this is about 2 teaspoons. Some chili powder. This is a hot Indian chili powder, but if you've got cayenne at home, that'll do. Just use a little bit less than the recipe says. Some salt, kosher salt, and fresh black pepper, which helps the turmeric act. And then dhania, coriander, fresh ground coriander if you have it. And that's about 2 teaspoons. So we let that cook nicely. And I think I'll show you what that looks like after it's been cooking for about 5 minutes. So we have this pot right here. And now at this point is when you were going to add your vegetables. You've got some sliced carrots from the farmer's market. They're lovely. Some cubed sweet potatoes, so lots of orange, and some chickpeas. You can give that a stir. Now these are dense vegetables, so these are going to need liquid, right, to cook through. So we can put water, you put about a quart or 4 cups, or you can use any kind of vegetable stock or broth if you have. I think I've got a leak there, but so fill that up, bring it to a boil, and cook it for about 10 minutes. Thanks. Is it smelling good?
It smells delicious.
So, and then let's say that's been cooking for 10 minutes, just for TV purposes. After we bring that to a boil and it's been cooking for 10 minutes, we're going to add our greens. So we have Swiss chard right in here, about 6 leaves, maybe a small bunch. There's no science to this, really. Well, okay, I didn't say it. There is science to it, and she'll tell you about the science. There's a juicy tomato to put in there for some acidity, and So now, let's say 10 more minutes have passed and we've cooked this down. Then we would add some coconut milk, which we have right here. Now, you want unsweetened coconut milk with the fat on top. You'll see the coconut, the heavy part in a can on top. You want both the liquid and the fatty part, because that fatty part is a good fat. Well, Shelly will tell you more about that. But it's got flavor and really gives a nice richness to the soup. And last two ingredients, some lime juice, fresh lime, and you can tailor that to whatever you like. A lot of people like lemony, limey flavors. And of course, because we're all desi, we have to have cilantro in everything, right?
So as you can see, this looks delicious, and it has lots of health benefiting vegetables and herbs and spices. This recipe has carrots and tomatoes, which have beta carotene, which do help boost the immune system. And of course, that turmeric that Shefali talked about is anti-inflammatory and helps fight off those colds and infections as well. So this looks delicious. I can't wait to try it. It's delicious and healthy.
It's very hearty and it tastes good.